Keep in touch. One of the most difficult things about growing up that I've found is that everyone's paths eventually diverge, which isn't a bad thing. It would be terrible if we all were on the same monotonous path. But that can make things difficult on our relationships. You see, in high school, everything's kind of simple. Everyone is together, you go to the same building, you maybe share some of the same classes, you for sure share the same lunchtime. You see your friends quite frequently. And even post-high school, usually there's still a few people that stick around in your hometown. Sure, a couple move away to go to, pursue job opportunities or schooling opportunities, but relatively, most people are close by, especially in smaller towns where there's only one or two nearby city choices for university. So it's easy to keep in touch then. But what happens in the years after? Everyone leads busy lives with busy schedules. We're all running our own crusades after all. We're all fighting our own fights and battling our own demons. I mean, this is a challenge in of itself with friends, is the fact that none of us are on the exact same path. Though some may be similar, which makes things easier, many friendships just aren't that way. As I grow older, I'm finding this is the most challenging part of relationships, is simply keeping in touch. It's not the changing viewpoints or relationships or how they talk differently or dress differently or act differently because they've grown as a person. I don't care about any of that. It's just making the effort to keep talking, to keep in touch, to see each other once in a while, to send a text, to make that call, so that way you two still know that one of you are out there rooting for one another. In this life, there's lots of people that we're always meaning to call, or text, or go over to their place, or meet up with, or invite over. I mean, that's normal. The issue is we don't usually make the effort, or at least I know in my experience, it's difficult to make the effort. There's many times where I forget to invite, or I forget to text or call, or even worse, I make the note to do it, and when the time finally comes around to doing it, I just don't feel like it anymore. I mean, so many times we say, oh, we should meet up sometime. How many times can you say that? You've said that as a person, where you met up with an old friend and you say, oh, we should, catch up sometime and talk about things. Maybe it's an old coworker, a high school friend, an ex, a family member. It could be anyone. And you meet and you're like, oh man, it's been, so long, we should meet up again. And you just never do it. And I know that's just common. Like I said, everyone's busy. It's not a bad thing in some cases. But I will say the few times I have actually made the effort to meet up and catch up with people, it's been rewarding. It's been good even just to let one another know that you're still out there rooting for them in their crusades, in their battles. And that you can still have fun together, even if it's not frequent. I guess it just kind of reminds me how everything in this life is temporary. The friends you have, the things that you keep, where you're at, who's around you, it's all temporary. And again, that's not a bad thing. Life is always changing. That's part of the deal. We don't get to change that. Now we can try and hold on to things for as long as we can, and sometimes there's nothing wrong with that until it becomes unhealthy, but for the most part, things are going to change, and that's just something that we have to all accept. I mean, one day everyone moves on and grows into a new person. One day you're gonna have to say goodbye to people. It's just a fact. There's nothing wrong with this. It's healthy to say goodbye, and it's healthy to say hello. I mean, you can't have good without bad, light without dark, and you can't have change and growth without the death of the old. I guess a point that I'm trying to make is I don't want my relationships for the people I still care about deeply to end just because neither of us made the effort. I would hate the idea that 3 or 4 years down the line I think of someone and go, for 3 years I beat myself up, because I didn't call, or I didn't text, or I didn't make the effort. And now our relationship has stagnated and fell apart. And that's not to say it's permanent. You can usually still reconnect things, but just all the time that you didn't can become a mental burden on you. It's a shame when things just have to cease just because you didn't make the effort, especially things that you still want to keep or hold on to. I've made many friends on my short years on this planet. I've met a lot of amazing people that have changed me, my perspective on life, on myself, who have enlightened me, inspired me, who have given me good times and bad times. But I've grown from all of it. And I just don't have the time for everyone. No one does. Especially when you have so many people around you. And that can give you this weird sense of perspective in your head. You can get this weird sort of situation happening where you feel like you owe everyone things back. I feel like I owe a lot of people things back because of what they've done for me. And I feel that my weight in the relationship has been an equal payback for what they've given to me. I mean, it's not easy to balance things like that. And it's probably just because it's from my perspective. Or if you looked at their perspective, they'd probably think, man, I could never repay that person back as well. Or man, that person's offered me so many good times or things or whatever it is. And I feel like I've never made it up to them. And I feel like relationships shouldn't even be based on that to begin with. Maybe that's an unhealthy thought process. So what's the point of this video, Griff? What's going on? I don't know. I wanted to try something new. I just wanted to sit down and just talk about something that I've been thinking about for a couple months now. I think this is just a reminder that, your friends deserve your attention. And you shouldn't let things that you want to keep around fizzle out just because you never make an effort. You shouldn't let a relationship that you care about fall apart just because you don't send the text or you don't make the call. You shouldn't let that high school friend of yours that you do want to meet up with and hear about how his university life has been going fizzle out just because you never made the effort to say, hey, maybe we should actually meet up. Does this weekend work for you? I know it's difficult, and you don't have to be best friends with everybody. It's just not feasible. You don't have the time unless you dedicate your life to your friends. And when you do that, then you can lose pieces of you. All I'm saying is make sure that in the relationships that you care about, you should be doing your best to let people know that you're still there, rooting for them, that you still care. That even though they're off in their own world, potentially, provinces, states, countries, land masses away, that you're still someone who wishes to support them. And I guess you hope that they're still willing to do the same for you. And if they're not, maybe it's time for that relationship to end. Now, I know this video has been a little bit more somber. Hold on. Yeah, somber than the last couple videos, but I don't know. I just wanted to take some time to share my thoughts, and I think I want to do this a little bit more of an unstructured sort of speaking of my thoughts. I was going to create a whole separate format for this type of thing, but I don't know how often I'm going to do this. So, thank you for listening to my thoughts tonight, or today, or whenever you're watching this. It's night for me. I do appreciate it. I always appreciate you stopping by just to hear what I have to say, even if it's dumb ramblings like this. You know what to do. There's a like thing down there and a favorite, and if you think there's a friend that you know of that you can share this with, go for it. If not, that's cool too. I guess all that matters is that you're content with where you're at in your relationships, and if you think that there's someone out there that you know, you could reconnect with, or you could make the effort for, and you have the time and you have the availability and you have the energy to do it, maybe stop pushing it aside. Maybe stop letting the what ifs and the fears get to you, and just do it and see where it takes you. And if it's bad, well, at least you tried. You can then cut away from that. But I think it's always worth a shot. Anyway, it's been good rambling at you. You all have yourselves a great day, and as always, take care.
Hmm.